I'm going to cook sea-spiced aubergine with 5-spiced duck. The aubergine, or an eggplant as it's called in Australia, is an amazing thing, but few people, I think, know how to cook it very, very well. An eggplant can be quite greasy, it can be a bit hard, it can be a bit horrible, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it in a way that I learnt from the Chinese. First, cut the aubergines into quarters and then put them into boiling water. What they do is they take out the water, it washes out the bitterness, and when you fry them, they're soft and lovely and they soak up all the juices, but they're not tough and they're not greasy. They don't take up the oil. And now for the duck. And the duck I'm going to do very, very quickly and very, very simply. This is the best way to cook a duck without fail. Duck breast is a lovely thing, but they're very expensive and they can be ruined really easily. Take the skin and score it well, all the way through, right to the ends, until you just touch the flesh. And now season the skin with Chinese 5-spice. Just a tiny bit, and as soon as you smell that, it's like you're walking through Chinatown. Pat it, a little bit of salt, they're going to go on to cook. But before they do go on, take yourself a fry pan, as cold as you possibly can. Take the duck and put the duck into the pan, cold pan, skin side down. And then we'll put that on the stove. As the pan warms up, the fat underneath the skin starts to render, which means it starts to melt, and the actual fat itself just goes in, and then you turn the duck over, the fat goes over the top, it all stays lovely and moist, and you get crispy skin. Our aubergines are cooked and they're lovely and soft now. Take them off the heat and just put them to one side. Take my duck, cold pan, onto the heat, and just let it go. And after about 5 minutes, the duck's ready to turn. And look how much fat's come out of that duck. That's just from the skin of the duck. There's no added oil in there. Look at that. Beautiful. So you don't need to add fat to your duck at all. And then just flip it over, and the skin is wonderful and crispy. This is a fail-safe way of cooking duck breasts. Take the duck fat now and pour it over the skin. And it's just basting it and letting that fat run back through the duck itself. But by now the skin is going crispy and it's smelling like a Chinese market. Those duck breasts take about 5 minutes on each side to cook. So when your duck is cooked, set to one side whilst you finish off the aubergines. First, slice some ginger and red chilli. And now I'm going to do some oyster mushrooms and just pull those apart. And then slice some spring onions and prep the long leaf coriander. It tastes like coriander, but it needs to be cooked. It's a lot stronger than coriander, but it's beautiful. And you don't see it very often. You can use coriander if you like. Just shred it. Now I've got everything ready. It's time to finish those aubergines. I'm frying them in the fat from my duck for extra flavour. And then it's in with the ginger, the chilies, and the whites of the spring onions, followed by some oyster mushrooms. And it's almost sort of like making a pie. You make all these layers, but let all the aubergine just cook together and it becomes something quite extraordinary. All of the flavours fuse together. Next, it's in with the bush tomatoes. Native to Australia, they're actually a berry and a sour in flavour. And now the last few bits. Add the green to the spring onions, the long leaf coriander, and a good glug of oyster sauce. And now it's time for that extra special ingredient I picked up from the market. This is deep fried crispy chicken skin. Now watch this. This is clever. So now peanuts with my chicken skin. If you can't get hold of crispy chicken skin, that's all right. Roasted crushed peanuts on their own will do the job. And I'm going to slice my duck. There you go. Perfectly soft, wonderful, pink duck ready to be eaten. And just my peanut and chicken salt mixture down the side.